So at this point, you're making ad revenue, you're doing some brand deals, and you're still posting short form in addition to long form.
I don't know how I did it. At this, like, I was losing hair. Like, I was
You were
sleeping.
working like a dog.
Yeah, I was working like a dog. Like, I was aging at the speed of dog too. Like, it was like 1 year was 7 years of aging for me.
Yeah.
I had everything I wanted, I think. It was doing really well. Short form was doing well. Long form was doing well. The question was, how am I going to, like, sustain this? Like, because I wasn't seeing any friends.
Yeah.
I was working 24/7. I was only sleeping 4 hours a day. I sacrificed my sleep and was just doing this because, you know, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I was so lucky. Not everyone can do this. I'm making money, like a lot of money that I've never seen in my life before. And my parents are like, what the heck is happening? And it just felt like a dream come true. So I was really happy to work like this. And I told myself, you know what? All my friends who are working in investment banking, they're also like sleeping 4 hours.
Grinding. Yeah.
They're grinding. So everyone is grinding, early 20s. Everyone around me is grinding. So I didn't mind. But I knew, like, I knew it couldn't be long-lived either.
Right. It felt like it had a half-life.
I knew there was an end to it. Like, it couldn't just, like, keep on going further and further and further in this format. And I was also kind of, like, running out of things to say. I was like, if my whole life is about just content creation, what am I supposed to vlog about? My life is about vlogging and I'm supposed to vlog that.
Right.
But, like, is that an interesting vlog?
Yeah.
And then what am I going to do next also? Like, at some point it's kind of started to muddle, like, am I living life for real or am I doing it for the vlog?
Yep.
It started to really mess with me and I knew it wasn't, like, sustainable.
And so that's when you start a restaurant.
Yeah, it's intense, actually. So, little more backstory to it. I think I was at a point where I met Kevin, my partner. Like, I had almost everything I wanted, but I was still, like, very unhappy because I was like, I'm just a vlogger at the end of the day. Like, I want to achieve something greater. And I met Kevin, who was working in a Michelin restaurant. He had his own organic farm. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, I wanted to quit content at some point because I was like, you know what? I want to just exit on a high. Just be at the peak of my career and then just do something different. Like, I wanted to be like a barista or something because I really thought that was so much cooler and it was a world that I didn't know either. But I knew this was something I really loved and I knew I wanted to do something more with it. And Kevin had also just moved to Korea. I convinced him to move and to, like, start a project together and start working together. And what made the most sense was starting something that was a bridge between online and something real and something you could feel and be tangible, because I had only really spoken to my audience online and it didn't feel real. And I wanted to bridge that gap into a restaurant. Like, because how many, like, food content creators open restaurants that you can taste and you can see? And I was working at there for the first opening months and stuff. I wanted to chronicle that journey and stop vlogging and do this.
Service.
Wait, so they should be in the glasses before the snacks are out?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try that one more time.
Yeah.
I think these are the things that people don't talk about, like when you open a restaurant, like timing, like plating.
So we have 4-man's table here.
Yes. We were so stressed. We had a whole, like, garden upstairs. Like, we wanted to really delve more into, like, informational. Like, I didn't want the videos to only be, like, the personality backed videos, because that's a lot of pressure on my shoulders to keep on performing. At some point I really felt like a jester, and I love being a jester. Like, I like making people laugh, but I wanted to do something a bit more educational and something that people could watch like 10 years down the line and it's still something that people can learn from. And that was, like, the route that I was going. And at this point I'm doing short form, long form, and opening a restaurant.
Oh my god, dude.
And this was like the toughest period of my life. And, you know, we ended up closing it.
Closing the restaurant.
Yeah, we ended up
After
closing
how long?
it. Not even a year in. Like, it was just not possible. It was just simply not possible to run a team and to do what I do.
How big was the team?
So we had people working in the restaurant. That was, like, I think total, like, around 7 people. And this was my first time working with a team also. I had worked alone up until really this point, doing my own thing, setting my own schedule. And I never worked corporate before, so this was like a new position for me. And I was suddenly in this position of a leadership. Like I knew how to, I'm an expert in making my own videos. I'm not an expert in people. I'm going to be honest, I was not a good boss either. Like I think I have a level of perfectionism and I'm very hypercritical to what I do. And it shouldn't be the case when you're working with people. And I learned a lot from this experience. And it was the most important thing that I could have done to my learning. And yeah, it also came at a cost. For me, I also had YouTube as like a backup, right? And the restaurant wasn't like what we were relying on for finances. Like the YouTube was backing the restaurant, right? Yes. And I feel really horrible because it was also the first time I had to lay off people. And I cried so much. Like I never had to lay off anyone. And like I'm like 25 at that point. Was I good about it? No. Is there a good way to lay off people ever? No. And it was not the right decision. It was something that I viewed as a project and it shouldn't have. And I learned a lot from it. And I think it shaped how I view YouTube as more of a business from here on, not just as a creator. And that was like the pivotal moment.
I love what you just said. I'm going to push back a little bit on like it wasn't the right decision, it was a mistake. One of the things that makes you special and amazing at what you do is your willingness to take risks and to try something new even if it doesn't end up working. Honestly, I think like that is in terms of like personality traits, people who possess that trait in spades end up going a long, long way and doing a lot of really great things because, yeah, the truth is that's how life works. You try a bunch of shit and most of it doesn't work. And then one thing works. Yeah. And you just have this habit of like, nope, like, yes, it's working here, but like, I'm going to go find something else.
You can watch the entire conversation with Tina for free on the Digital Spaghetti Patreon page, and links are in the description below.
So these videos of like the ASMR, like food, like videos, we're getting millions of views.
I'm still very stressed out and worried at this point. I didn't have the conviction and I didn't know if this was going to fly, but I think gave myself a duration of time. I'm going to really give this my best for a year and see where this goes. You don't have to do everything in one go. Like enjoy the processes and you'll figure it out along the way.